everybody, it's Heather with Minnesota Senior Service Industry Nights, and I'm actually filming this segment from the SoundChoice office located in Bradenton off of State Road 64. Want to remind you that we're going to be having our event on Wednesday, May 15th from 4:30 to 6:30, where you can come out and meet all of my 12 fabulous sponsors. I'm sitting with one right now. Actually, this is David Miner. He is with SoundChoice Cremation, and he is their pre-need director. Welcome.
Correct. Thank you. Pleasure to be a part of this, and I'm excited.
We're excited to have you back. You guys were one of our original sponsors when we started in Sarasota, right. So I appreciate you guys sticking with us on this as we expand. So give me a little information about SoundChoice Cremation, and more importantly, as everybody has competition, and you do as well, right. What makes you kind of stand apart in the market?
Yeah, so those are great questions, and so thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
So why I love this little company is because how it started. Just a quick background, 9 years ago I moved here from Pennsylvania. First year I did very little. The second year I heard the words no man wants to hear, get out of the house, you're driving me crazy.
Oh boy.
And so I was a pastor for many, many years. And so I've seen a lot of people lose loved ones and go through this situation on a bad day. Always felt there'd be a better way to do that. Sure. Always felt that. So this opportunity arose for me, and what's beautiful about my company, I think it sets us so apart. We were started by the chairman of Tidewell Hospice, who lost his wife to a terrible disease and went through that ordeal. They asked him to become the chairman, and in my heart he was touched by the compassion they had and wanted to do something for our local community. And so we started this very inexpensive price cremation and burial for folks. And I don't like what I do, I love what I do, because I take away the pressure from doing business on the worst day. I meet with people on a good day, we sit down, we talk, we do the arrangements, and then they go out to dinner together. So I think what makes us different is how we started and the compassion of the people that work with us. And if you read my reviews, people pretty much say the same thing that I do. We're just a wonderful company to work with.
Well, you brought up a really good point. I started in this industry in skilled nursing. And I remember when I was an admissions coordinator, and when I would bring people in for their stay, a lot of them had no pre-need done whatsoever. And then I would find these people would pass away, and as if the family doesn't have enough to deal with.
Right.
Now they're having to figure this out. I think it's so fantastic. Do you ever go in and do talks or educational things at assisted livings?
I do. We do that. We go to assisted livings, we go to many communities, we do venues such as what we do together. We do seminars where we invite people to come. You know, I'm like the Pied Piper. I just want to get the message out. You know, the wonderful thing about being a resident of the state of Florida is this was set up by the state of Florida. It was not the idea of a bunch of funeral homes to help pre-arranging. It came from the state of Florida, and they're between the funeral home and you when you pass away to make sure that everything people have paid for is done exactly what they want. So the state of Florida is very involved in pre-arrangements to protect people.
And I know a little bit that there's not just the cremation aspect or the burial, but these days there's so many things that you guys offer that people can do with the ashes.
Right.
For the families. Can you go over a few little extras or ones that are unique?
Yeah, well, so, you know, legally we can do 3 things with somebody's remains. Of course, we can deliver them to the family. We can send them to a cemetery, but a lot of people are choosing a scatter at sea, which is kind of interesting because we have a captain that we've hired that goes out 3.5 miles into the Gulf. And then he has a little urn he places over the side. It's biodegradable. And he watches it kind of disappear there. And then he has a little prayer. And then he sends a certificate of that exact resting place to the family. So if they ever want to go to their Mother's Day and put flowers, or someday maybe Dad will be with her, they know that resting place in the Gulf. So that I find very interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I always like to wrap up these little interviews with something personal about the person that I'm interviewing. Sure. And you mentioned something that was pretty fascinating.
Yeah. So years ago when I was in the ministry, a friend of mine, he was kind of the James Bond of pastors. He was always smuggling Bibles to China or Russia. No, he was in jail once for doing it.
Wow.
But just come home and he'd tell people, and he'd get people to do it with him. And he asked me to go to Romania when it was in the communism time. I said, I'll wait. And when it finally, when they had the revolution in 1989, Christmas Day, they actually killed the dictator, Ceausescu. Wow. He said in January, just a few weeks later, he said, let's go, it's free now. So I said, okay, and it was a mess. The secret police was still everywhere. It was dangerous. And I remember going into that country, and it was like walking back in time. It's like walking back into the 50s, yet everything was broke. Like it was the 1950s, but everything had been
It had to be
destroyed.
eerie.
It was the most depressing place I've ever seen in my life. But I had never seen children eating out of a garbage dump.
Oh.
I've never seen that before. And you see, it's one thing to see it on TV, read about it in the newspaper, but when you see visibly a child eating out of a dump with a rat running around, it changes your life. And you can't come home and put it away. And I came home, and my people, we have a beautiful church up in Pennsylvania, all paid for. Retirement home, all paid for. Gymnasium for the children, all paid for. And I just said to my people, I said, folks, I can't sleep because children are eating out of a dump. Now, I can't save them all, but we can save a few. And they rallied with me, and we built orphanages there and a couple of churches. And I went over 100 times and rescued children. We were able to bring, I think, 29 from there, placed them in homes here in America, and some of them have done so well. So something some people don't know about me, but nothing I want to brag about, because I always say it was always done not because of me, but in spite of me. Somebody else gets the glory.
And normally I've got something really sarcastic or funny to say, and I'm actually kind of choked up after that story. So, but that's fantastic. Thank you for doing that and for sharing the story.
You're welcome.
And you'll be able to come out and actually meet David on May 15th and some of his other partners that are with SoundChoice Cremation. And all of my sponsors, which as you've seen along the way with their videos, each have a unique story to tell. And I think we've got a fantastic group of people. So make sure you come out again May 15th on Wednesday, 4:30 to 6:30. We're going to take over Motorworks Beer Garden. Our sponsors are paying for the first 50 drinks. We really appreciate you guys doing that for them. We're going to have some appetizers and snacks going, a photo booth, giving away a $100 gift card. The list goes on and on. Hope that you will join us then. And this concludes my interview with SoundChoice Cremation. David, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. Okay.
And we'll be seeing you guys in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.